Hello everyone, welcome to the video. My name is Dylan. I am the king, the absolute king. And today I got the new House of the Dragon episode and I'm excited about his one. I've been waiting for this battle. It's my favorite battle in the book, mainly because of the standoff between Christian and Roderick Dustin. The Northmen are the stars of this battle in the book, but they added Oscar Tully in it here. In the books, the Blacks laid scorch earth on Christian's host. He left Harrenhal with 3,600 instead of 4,000 due to raids and desertion. This was shortly after the fish feed, where the Northmen, without the Tully host, killed off the Lannisters. The Tullys had been dealing with Grover Tully wanting to fight for Aegon, and them being slow to gather an army when Grover did die, and his grandson Elmo flared for the Blacks thanks to Daemon showing up. But they're making Oscar Tully more important in the show, despite cutting out his brother Kermit. I like the Muppets too, but Georgie, my boy, you shouldn't have named your characters after them if you didn't want them in your HBO show. Inaccurate. But anyway, the Scorched Earth had Cole losing men to desertion and joining the Blacks. They were outnumbered 2-1 at this point. Black Trombo set up the feasting corpses we saw inaccurately last episode from the fish feed battle because there wasn't 5 episodes between them. Then at Crossed Elms Village, the dead corpses weren't dead and attacked Cole, only killing 12. Then, not immediately after, but later, when leading his host to the Blackwater Rush and into Stony Ridge beneath the God's Eye, the ambush springs up. Cole meets the lords in a parley, and Lord Garibald Grey says the promise to the dead and Sept of Corpses line. Roddy the Ruin's line is cut in half. Damn, all I wanted was a fully accurate Roddy the Ruin in this show, and to make him more important than everyone else. Is that too much to ask? But he also said in the book, "Winter's here, time for us to go," which is very accurate to the Winter Wolves coming to die thing. Cole saying, "As you will, it is true," but there's no mention of him looking at a handkerchief in the book, mainly because the affair was never in it. Could be accurate, because the books are history books meant to miss these things or be inaccurate. We won't know. After asking to battle 3-1, which would have highlighted Cole's whole wanting to die gloriously in battle thing, they set up last episode. He asked for it to save his men. Could have really highlighted him wanting to be a hero if they added it. Pate of Longleaf, the Lion Slayer, has the best line they should have added, even if given to Oscar. "I'll want 3 more. I'll have no songs about how brave you died, Kingmaker. There's tens of thousands dead on your account." This line acknowledged that Cole started this war. They shouldn't have cut it out if they were going to make Cole's arc about wanting to die gloriously and be remembered, because this line and the whole conversation is to stick it. He doesn't deserve that. The show barely acknowledged Cole as the Kingmaker. Just one line from that Gunthor Darkland last season. They cut out Cole's best dialogue when he convinced Aegon to take the crown. Maybe the books just failed to write how much Otto and Alicent controlled things, but Cole shouldn't have been done like this. In the books, it is Red Rob Rivers who shot arrows taking down Cole, not Black Ally. Both are Blackwoods, so I guess it doesn't matter. I do want to talk about the Blackwoods. In the battle versus the Brackens last season, Amos Bracken killed Samwell Blackwood, which is mentioned in the show. But Amos dies in that same battle to an arrow by Black Ally Blackwood. Instead, they have her the feat of killing Cold. Amos's half-brother Raylon Rivers leads the force in a retreat to where Daemon had already taken his home and his father Humphrey had surrendered. It mentions his family was held hostage. His third wife and commoner paramour, who I'm assuming is his Raylon's father, all while the Tullys were still at Riverrun, not doing anything until Adam and Seasmoke paid a visit. I would have preferred if the show didn't just focus on the Targaryen, who don't always have things going on, and gave the spotlight to the lords leading the battles, like the Rivermen and Roddy the Ruin. Cole was done pretty dirty. In King's Landing, I'm still annoyed at Orwell being on Team Black so easily when he should be in the dungeon. The Gold Cloaks killing isn't happening or just isn't mentioned. Daeron is never called king. These would have been in the histories. The Vulture King stuff is nice to mention. Boros marched south with 6,000 men. A delegation to the Queen is never mentioned because he is firmly on Aegon's side. but those men trying to assassinate Ormond just didn't happen this way. If it's not mentioned in the books because it's too small a thing, fine. But the Baratheons had no part in it. I do want to say I am annoyed with the numbers in the books. 6,000 from the Stormlands, less than 15,000 in the West, triple those numbers in a song of ice and fire. I justify it with the years changing and more people being born into the world. That is how army doubles from the Middle Ages to the modern era. But this is purely because George is bad with numbers. The Alicent stuff is stupid. I guess it's not too big a thing to mention in the books, Alicent and Haliana running away and being caught in the walls. But was this really only here to restrict them even further, which is probably to cause problems with Haliana's pregnancy? The Gold Cloak's new Lord Commander is Balon Birch, though. That should be later on when Luther died. I want to talk about the Queen's Guard. At this point, Laurent Marbrand isn't dead. He's Lord Commander. Not sure if they'll bring him back or if that line Rhaenyra made episodes ago was to kill him off screen. It is never said when the new Queen's Guard are named, but I assume after they took King's Landing. So they are Glendon Good, Adrian Redford, Harold Dark, Lionel Bentley, and Loreth Lansdale. Only one guy is really shown, Redford. At this point, Aemond is burning the Riverlands and Nettles with Sheepstealer waiting for him with Daemon. Sheepstealer doing nothing in the Vale is inaccurate. Vagar having flown away is inaccurate. The Jane Eyre stuff, I don't really care. Her and Rhaena are enjoying themselves doing nothing in the books. Baela is doing nothing, unable to ride Moondancer. She is at Dragonstone. I like the Hightower stuff since Daeron grew up with both Gwaine and Ormond, but Gwaine is dead, never going to the Hightower host. Gwaine is mentioned as the heir to Oldtown, but Ormond has sons. His Lionel is at Oldtown, so that's not right. They mentioned Rhaena, the conciliator's sister, and I was going to say she didn't grow old in Harrenhal. It was Dragonstone. But when I checked the book, I found that she did go to Harrenhal after she was unable to go back to Dragonstone because it was too many bad memories. Aemond and Alice being a couple now is accurate. Rhaenyra is cut on the throne. It is mentioned cuts on her palm and legs are noticed after she took King's Landing, and that she was spurned from it, indicating she wasn't meant to rule. What Ulf and High were doing at this time in the books is never mentioned. Not sure how you utilize a dragon in war when there isn't a battle. I guess it makes the most sense to have the dragons camp out waiting for the enemy dragon and host to make a move or to stop them from doing that. It isn't mentioned in the books, but sounds like what would happen. The Hugh and Cat stuff just isn't mentioned in the books, but he wouldn't have been able to just sneak into Tumbleton like that. This show is ridiculous, having way too many unbelievable sneaking into fortified castles and towns just that easily, all for these pointless failed missions. Call Tyrion and Davos. They're needed to sneak into King's Landing again and retrieve Gendry and whatever stupid stuff Tyrion was trying to do. Ulf the Sot sneaking out to get alcohol sounds accurate, but surely he'd be punished in the books if caught. Him being hurt by Daemon in a gold cloak could have happened in the books, but these murders aren't being mentioned, so no reason to be in disguise. Could factor into future decisions of Ashazavinash. He was punished, but it never was mentioned. I feel I should also mention that the trying to save Cat didn't happen in the books because Cat doesn't exist. It is considered marrying Hugh to Lord Rosby's daughter, since Lord Rosby was executed after taking King's Landing for bending the knee despite initially staying loyal until threatens to kill any lord in the dungeon if they don't bend the knee. Same thing with Stokeworth. His daughter is considered to be given to Ulf. Daemon pushes for it to reward them and control the dragon seeds, but Rhaenyra doesn't want to ignore the law where men inherit despite the sons being younger. She has the argument that she is the exception because of Viserys and being a Targaryen. Would have been interesting. Haliana being mentioned as a dreamer is never mentioned in the books, and every dreamer is mentioned, unless she stayed just that quiet. But the dream about Aemon just isn't true. And the Alicent stuff is just stupid. She was arguing with Rhaenyra asking to split the Seven Kingdoms between her and Aegon, not fully submitted to her like a little dog, going on missions to kill her son. The Valerian soldiers being used to hold the city is something that happened from when they took the city. I have no idea what Corlys being attacked at the end is about. The Alan and Corlys stuff is inaccurate. Corlys is still in King's Landing. The books never say he had a spat with Rhaenyra, but I guess not everything is mentioned. These Triarchy Raiders stuff. This is going to be a spoiler, but I feel like they are only here to be the outlaws who attack Rhaenyra when she flees next season. Alan is being set up for his future marriage with Baela, though that is only because Baela wanted to run away from an arranged marriage. So her going to him in the books could be because she was already kissing him beforehand. Also, Alan's discourse with Corlys over the bastard thing seems not accurate since Alan ends up having bastards with Aelena Targaryen, so unless he becomes a hypocrite late in life, it's stupid. But I am done. That is the video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.